You don't have to tell me. I know how much I've been slacking lately. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Bronco Juggalo. I'm at the end of a long day, and I decided to review the second movie in the I Spit on Your Grave franchise. Now, I'm not doing these by the order in which they came out. I'm doing them in the order they were intended by the creators. So today, I decided to not be on camera again, and I figured, well, we're doing a movie about women and that are badass and hot and getting revenge. So let's look at some badass hot women. Today, we are talking I Spit on Your Grave, Deja Vu. From 2019. Directed by Mir Zachi, I don't know how you say it. Starring Camille Keaton as Jennifer Hill, reprising the role after 40 years. Christy Hill is played by Jamie Bernadette. Now, this movie is also known as Day of the Woman Deja Vu. Jennifer Hill and her model daughter are kidnapped by the families of the men that raped her 40 years ago. I stress, 40 years ago. Now, this movie has a 2.4 on IMDb, and as much as I'm going to try to speak positively about the film, it's not going to happen. This movie is fully justified in receiving its 2.4. Now, this was written before the remake, but the sequels of the remake prevented this movie from being brought out. It started filming in 2015, but it did not make its release until 2019. The day that the Blu-ray was released, it was the #1 horror and the #1 overall seller on Amazon for a first day release. Now, as far as pros and cons go, guys, I have 3 pros and a bunch of cons. But I'm going to sum it all down into a couple things. First pro, good kills. Second pro is a spoiler, so if you don't want to hear it, tune out now. Jennifer dies in this movie. I thought it was a good choice, and I like the way they did it. And the biggest, both pro and con in this movie, is that the script is straight camp. Straight out of the camp of TCM2, if you get my drift. Now, that's a pro, and it's a con. It's a pro because I like campy horror. It's a con because, just like with TCM2, they followed up an amazing, serious flick with a campy piece of garbage. This is not only a con for this movie, but for a lot of films. Why do they always make the stupid redneck people Christians that say that God is in on everything they do? It makes those of us that actually do believe in Christ, look really stupid. And I really honestly don't appreciate that. And I know that this movie is probably made by somebody who don't give a damn or don't believe anyways. Just like most of the fucking people that watch this shit. Even half the people that are out there today. Whatever. I don't really care what you believe. But why do they always have to make people that share my beliefs look stupid? Now, maybe I should do that. Maybe I should make a movie and make people that believe everything that I don't believe look stupid. Of course, they make themselves do that in real life. The acting in this movie is terrible. All the way from Jennifer Hill on down. I don't think she did a good job. Camille Keaton did not do a good job in this movie. She really phoned it in. Jamie Bernadette was okay, but she did nothing spectacular in this. All of the victims' families, quote-unquote, the new bad guys, they were all terrible. Here's another big spoiler. In this movie, they say that Christy is actually the daughter of the main rapist, Johnny, or John, or whatever his name was back in the original film. The guy that owned the gas station. That makes no fucking sense whatsoever. She is very clearly in her 20s in this film. They talk about her being the biggest model on the planet. You don't be the biggest model on the planet when you're in your 40s and 30s. You be the biggest model on the planet when you're in your 20s. She is very obviously in her 20s. It would make no sense for her to be the daughter of one of these rapists when the rapes took place 40 years prior to this film. She is obviously way too young. That was stupid. I didn't find the reasons for this film, the motivations of the script, I didn't find any of it to be plausible. I found it to be absolutely ridiculous, which brings it back to the camp. The matriarch of the people that are the bad guys, the matriarch of the rednecks, she was kind of funny in a weird way. It reminded me a lot of, I believe her name is Ethel from Friday the 13th Part 5. It reminded me of her a lot for some reason. And so that wasn't too bad, but for the most part, I just didn't like any characters. I thought that they were all dumb. This movie drags and drags and drags. It's very slow. It has a over 2-hour runtime, almost 2.5 hours, which is way weird for a movie like this. It did not need that. They could have done this in 75 minutes, easy. I really wanted to talk good about this movie. I really enjoyed the first one a lot. The first one's a really great film. And I should have known that they would fuck it up. Everybody's trying to make these films kind of like, Halloween 2018, even though I will say this one started filming back in 2015, so it's not completely the same. But they didn't release it till 2019, and more often than not, a lot of these, 40-year after films, some are doing good, some are good, and some are just crap. And unfortunately, this one's crap. The 2.4 is not only well earned, it's generous. I will not be revisiting this film for sure. Unless I just decide to binge watch them all. I don't see myself watching this one again. This movie really sucked, guys. The only good thing in it was the kills. I didn't even like the nudity in this. The chick is way too fucking skinny. If I can see your fucking, each indentation of your breastplate between your fucking tits, and your tits hang when you're down on all fours, and your tits hang like two fucking flaccid looking milk bottles, baby bottles, then I just think that's just not for me. Sorry. I didn't think anything about this was appealing. And compared to the original, this movie is downright tame. There is one rape in it. It doesn't even show anything like the others do, and it looks fake as hell. I don't know why Mir Zakai or Zachi or whatever his name is went weird on this and totally went away from what he did in the first one. Because if he would have stuck to that, we would have had another great film on our hands. Don't understand, but it's what it is. Guys, this is Bronco Juggalo saying I really can't wait to dive into the remakes. I heard they are very good. But if you want a really great rape revenge movie that's not I Spit on Your Grave, try the movie Animalistic from Wild Eye. That one's awesome. This is Bronco Juggalo saying peace.